Hello EmployeeConnect System Administrators. Today we'll be going through the Performance Module. So to access the Performance Module, we're on the Home menu now. We'd go to the HR drop-down list and click on Performance. We're on the home page now, so it shows you all the performance reviews that have been run. So the start date, the end date, and the master status. If it's green, means the review's open and running. If it's red, it means the review has been closed and finished. Looking down the left-hand menu, you've got your dashboard tab, setup, metric, maintenance, and results. To begin with, you'd want to jump into metrics and set up your metric library. We'd first begin by jumping into the metric library and having a look at the metrics that we've created. You're able to edit each metric and add new metrics. Your metrics are your competency framework, so your framework by which you'll be evaluating your employees against. Getting your metric library correct is really important because that's what you'll be attaching to each review to evaluate your employees. So as you can see, you can add a new metric, you can appoint metrics, and you can assign metrics to each individual employee. On the Employee Assign tab, we can view our employees and what metrics have been attached to them. We're actually able to bulk assign metrics as well. Once we've completed our metric library setup, we can go and jump into review setup and begin to set up our different reviews. We'll jump into a review that's already been created. We now come to the detail of our performance review setup. So we can write a little bit of a description about the review template. We can elect what type of review it is. Is it a managerial review, a plan, a 360 review? The period of the review. And the period start and period end date is when the employee will jump in and evaluate themselves. The review start and the review end date is when the manager will jump in and evaluate the employee. We can elect whether we want this review to carry over from the previous period and whether we want to link the review and the mid-year review and the full-year review in one review. The status allows us to actually allocate whether employees can actually access the review or can't access the review. So you can see here we've got our master review status. Is it open, pending, or closed? Our participant status, are we giving them access? Do they have setup access, read, write only, or view only? And so on and so forth with the evaluator 360 and the acceptance status as well. We're then able to run through and elect who's eligible for the review, so we can do this via location, via org unit, via position, or the whole organization. We can then edit the participants individually and elect when they will receive their email notification to log into EmployeeConnect to complete their review. After we've completed the performance review setup, that's when we go in and edit the review template for that particular review. So as you can see, we're now in our performance review template library. You can have as many templates as you like, weekly, monthly, 6 monthly, annual reviews, it's up to you. Just to jump into the review that we set up before, you can see that you have up to 9 tabs to use. Now you don't need to use all 9 tabs, you can use 1, 2, 3, it's up to you, and you can rename them anything you like. The first tab is a bit of an introduction on this particular review, and then we can go in and set the conditions for each particular tab. So we've got the name, the type, the form type. Are you allowing employees to provide a comment on themselves, a comment and a rating, a comment, a rating, and allowing them to add a new library item? It's up to you. A bit of info on the particular tab, and then assigning the metrics relevant to this tab by which we want to evaluate the employees on. Once we've completed our template, we click Save, and we're ready to roll the review out. We're then able to go in and check our participants and our evaluators per review and edit our performance review periods. Moving on to our maintenance tab, we're able to view our appraisal status. This is where we can view each individual employee and whether they've completed the review or not. This is where we're able to jump into the actual worksheet that the employee is working on and go ahead and view the comments that they've written up until this point in time. Jumping back to the performance dash, we're also able to go to appraisal override, and this is where we can actually dictate whether we want them to be able to jump back into the review to complete it, whether they've completed it, whether the evaluator's completed it, and also the final acceptance. And then after that, actually lock the review to disallow any further changes to be made. The process is quite similar for a 360 review. So if we go to review setup, choose the review that we want to turn into a 360 review. Under type, make sure it's 360 and not manager. Click Save. Now we need to actually choose our 360 evaluators for that particular review. So we'd go into maintenance, 360 reviewer select, go into that particular review for that particular individual, and select 2 people or any number of people that you'd like to actually evaluate that employee. And when you've chosen the correct individuals, click Save. So if we go back to home, if I was one of those individuals that were chosen for the 360 review, under performance, I'd have a little 1 between the brackets, and that's where I would click in to actually complete that review. Once the reviews have been completed, we can jump into overall results. This is where we can see the overall rating of each employee, their score, and we can download their appraisal if need be as well. From the reporting aspect of performance reviews, going into the completion rate tab, we're able to see our completion rate per review. Moving on to the history of performance reviews, if we jump into appraisal summary, we can look at a bit of a summary of it on each review, so we can look at how many appraisals were completed within that review, the participant completion rate, the evaluator completion rate, and the overall appraisal completion rate. We're then able to jump into appraisal summary, and this gives us an overall picture of what's gone on within each review. We can see the appraisal count, the participant completion rate, the evaluator completion rate, and the overall completion rate. Jumping into appraisal history, we can view the appraisal history for each individual employee and each appraisal that they've ever completed.